Hey, cheerleaders. Chris Mack coming at you with an absolutely excellent comic book today. This is G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 21. I can't say that it was a great read, and I'll explain here in a minute. But I will first want to give a shout out to my buddy Brandon. We're both part of a Facebook group called League of Extraordinary Collectors, and he was doing an auction, and I won this along with some other really cool books that we will be going over. So appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. Now, a lot of people say that this is the first appearance of Snake Eyes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if memory serves correctly, the first appearance of Snake Eyes is G.I. Joe number 1. Now, is this supposed to be like his first solo mission or the first time we see him in his all black? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, with that said, Stan Lee presents Silent Interlude. And before we even get into this magnificent art, this is Larry Hama's story and breakdowns. Steve Lealoa, if I pronounce these wrong, forgive me. He does the finishes. George Rossos doing the coloring. And then, the man, the myth, the legend, Denny O'Neil, editor, Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. So all-star cast on this not cast. we're not breaking anything. Is on this book. The print date is March 1984, and I like this kind of slanted Dutch angle of this Cobra flyer just going at a castle silent, is it, or silent castle? I forget what it's called off the top of my head. Silent Castle, yeah, that's the one. But I mean, just look at this, how everything goes. There's kind of the focal point, just beautiful and dynamic all around, just breathtaking. Now, the first thing you notice as you're starting to flip through this book is there's no internal dialogue. It just shows Storm Shadow, which I do want to point out that this is the first, if I read it correctly, this is the first appearance of Storm Shadow and the Red Ninjas. So you see him flying into the Silent Castle. Love the Cobra logo right there. And he just, how he flies in through this little slit there. And Cobra Commander's just like, what's going on? He lands. We think it's like a body bag. People go to attack him. Storm Shadow draws his sword. Cuts the bag. Scarlet. And right here, wide eyes. Love the expression lines of Cobra Commander realizing that this person has brought him one of a prized possession. So I think this was kind of like, I don't know if this was Storm Shadow's initiation into Cobra or not. That I'm not 100% sure on. Then we turn the panel, and every panel, as you're seeing, is dynamic to some degree. We see this helicarrier flying in at an angle, another angle, silhouette, bright red, purple sky, and in comes Snake Eyes. Now, if you're asking yourself, what's going on here? Snake Eyes doesn't speak. That's just one of his things. I don't know if it's a vow of silence. That's kind of the one of the things I'm not well versed in. But because he doesn't speak, we get no narration. This was 1984, long before Marvel did that the 2000s Nuff Said challenge. Remember those books where they challenged all the writers and the artists to kind of collab together to tell a story just through imagery? 1984, baby. And even if you don't really get every single panel, the art team and Hama work wonderfully well together. Because, I mean, look, we get an establishing shot, kind of this pale yellow of a dungeon. Scarlet's banged up. Storm Shadow goes to touch her. Bites him. You see the pain. And he wants to draw his sword on her. Now, this is one thing that I will, from what I remember from the cartoon and the few comics that I have read, Storm Shadow, even though he's part of Cobra, still lives kind of like that, by that samurai code, a little bit of Bushido, I think. And so he doesn't want to draw his sword on a prisoner, and so he leaves. So I always give props to Storm Shadow for that. It's just sad he picked the wrong side. And then we get Destro monitoring, focusing eyes, talking about the probability of landing of the intruder. And then this wonderful panel. It just looks like someone took a marker and very kind of just very raw, and I love it. You see him hitting the parachutes. Love everything just kind of flows off the panel. Again, it's dynamic. It's not flat. It's not boring. And you're engaged, even though you're not getting any type of words. You're engaged. Like, how's Scarlet going to escape? Boom, 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 boom. What's going to happen with Snake Eyes? And then I love this. This was a little murky. I get kind of the idea of Destro kind of, he's always a planner. And that's why he's always kind of, him and the Baroness always sort of go behind the commander's back. You know, she's kind of the wild card. I like how he kind of picks her up and thinks about it. And I'm wondering if you've kind of seen her as the wild card. And then Storm Shadow goes to check on Scarlet, surprises him, takes him down, bashes him in the face. So it's like Snake Eyes came to rescue her. But this is what I love about this team. Like, I read Chuck Dixon's IDW G.I. Joe, and I loved how they worked together then, loved how they worked together in the cartoon and this original comic book. They're like the awesome team of the G.I. Joes. Just how with Lady J and Hawk, how they work so well together. Or, oh God, what is it? Hold on. Shipwreck and, is it Roadblock? How they kind of have a rapport together. It's really cool. I keep wanting to say Shorely, but I'm like, this is not Venture Brothers. But you see how Snake Eyes takes out the guards. And I love this panel where you just, you know, Destro's monitoring. Guy's like, help. And so he knows that he's been invaded. And you see how Snake Eyes is able to get past Destro and his guards. Storm Shadow meditating. Here's where the Red Ninjas come into play. And how he's going to call them to arms. And we're going to skip a couple more pages. And then I love this where Snake Eyes comes to Scarlet's prison. See this Red Shadow guy going in for the kill right at the base of the neck. And just misses. And Snake Eyes just wham! Someone else again gets smacked with the handle. And then I love the comics because, you know, the cartoon, they couldn't be violent. But here, Snake Eyes throws a flipping grenade at one of the ninjas and just and these bright reds and yellows and oranges. And then just the show of the size flying off. So it's not like super bloody, so at least a kid can read and understand. And then this, we see these two getting ready to ambush him. And he's just able to take them both out. And then Scarlet goes to escape on this craft. I'm not sure what that thing is called. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the first appearance of the Claw. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I think that's called the Claw, the flying thingamajigger. Like I said, I'm not super well versed in Joes. I'm trying to be. It was just something I didn't get to when I was a kid, and I'm just like, man, I wish I would have, because this was just some great stuff. Now, there's a couple more panels I do want to show. She lands because she wants to save her friend. Storm Shadow's like, oh no, because it's not the intended target. She knows it's coming. Slunk. Now, the last thing I do want to show is this. So, you see Scarlet smiling because she's with her friend, her ally, her companion. Now, here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's called, how do you pronounce this? Arashikage? Arashikage. I forget how to pronounce that, but basically it's how it shows without saying. Again, this goes back to how I always say, show, don't tell. Perfect example to show how these two ninjas are connected. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word again. Each line represents a level of expertise, if I remember correctly. And if you look, line 2 dots, line 2 dots, line 2 dots, line 2 dots. It shows that these two are equally matched. So, as Marvel would always say, enough said. Oh my goodness, guys. That's what I meant by, I can't say it was a great read. It was a very awesome visual experience. That was great visual storytelling at its finest. Dynamic panels, great coloring, great pencil work, the works. If you guys ever see this book, pick it up. Don't sleep on it. That's why when I saw it in that auction on, we call it LXC, League of Extraordinary Collectibles, and I saw Brandon was selling it, I jumped on it because this was just too cool of a book to pass up on. Now, with all that said, if you have enjoyed this comic book, please first and foremost support your local comic shop. See if they have one in stock. If they do, grab it. If not, the secondary market's going to be a little pricey, or you can check out these local groups on Facebook that I'm part of. Met a lot of cool fellow collectors and just been able to buy and swap together. And it reminds me of the old days of comic books when, Comic-Con was like people going, and it was like a swap meet in a sense. So it's really an awesome way to meet fellow collectors that way. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that Yo-Jo bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel. And we'd love to hear your feedback and just talk with y'all down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So, with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.